Hello and welcome to Wrestle Opinionated. This is our weekly show all about the great shows of AEW wrestling. We are your hosts. I am Morg, and this is
Supreme Silver Fox, Matthew Strange.
Oh, I like the new one. How have you been this week?
Yeah, good, man. Weird once again because obviously time has become a different concept with how we're all living now. Let's be honest. Like, I think I drank for like 4 days in a row, and that wasn't a problem. Otherwise, I've been playing a crazy OSINT game of like track down this location from a picture with no clues in. That's pretty cool. I've learnt a lot about random places in the world and located the Cheers bar from a picture of a man on a horse. That's been... It's weird, I know, but it's kind of cool. I feel a bit like a spy. What have you been up to?
Still playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. But fine, we got to what we think is the final boss last night, and that is one hell of a fight. And I will be redoing
Asteroid Space Mum
later. No. It goes. It's the next one after that. And
I didn't play it.
Yeah, and also restarted Oblivion. Other than that, watching a lot of wrestling.
So much wrestling. There's been so much wrestling.
A lot of AEW wrestling. I've not been watching much else.
Good week for AEWs, let's be honest. Strong showing all round.
I think, yes, I thought this was a good week. But yes, so AEW news and news in general. And we've actually got a couple of pieces.
Exciting.
Yeah. The first piece is a piece I found, which is Cody has applied for the trademark on the name Cody Rhodes.
I really want to own my own name. No.
Yes. Well, WWE had the trademark. They had it for 10 years. They got a warning saying, do you want to renew this trademark? And I'm guessing they've said no. Cody's applied so that he can put it on hats, sweatshirts, T-shirts, socks.
I mean, I want some Cody Rhodes socks, don't you?
To be honest, a pair of socks with his Nightmare logo, I can go with that.
I mean, I can't. I was going to be facetious, but I do own a pair of Goku Turtle School socks. So any argument I could make would be hypocritical. Now I think about it.
I have so many socks with superheroes on, it's unreal. So yeah, I can't really. I actually really need to get
wrestling socks. We have to be in, or we're hypocrites.
And I believe you've got news as well.
Yeah, so we've got AEW are apparently to resume tapings as of or live tapings as of the 6th of May. Turns out that they saw the loophole that Vince very nicely bribed them for. I mean, it's not slander or libel, I hope. But yeah, I think their plan is basically, well, if wrestling's legal to sort of film there, we'll just film it there. But, so as long I don't think AEW will put its staff in any form of risk. I think they're very keen on, like, if you look at all the people who are in the crowd and stuff, they're all like family groups. Like Kip and the British Heels all live together. The Best Friends all live together. We're getting clusters of people, so they're not, diversifying outside. And I suppose most of them live in giant mansion areas where they don't need to. This is an assumption. Most wrestlers don't earn a lot of money, so yeah, they'll be safe. So we will. Hopefully get a bit more of advancing on some of the storylines and stuff. I just hope they don't go full WWE and basically, shout, fuck you if you don't want to work in plague times. And in other news, Diona Purrazzo, put a bit of a roll on that one there at the end, Purrazzo. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. Said in an interview she wants to go to AEW. I don't really know who she is. We had a little bit of an exchange to discover she is the virtuosa. You'd know more, but
yeah, I vaguely remember her being in NXT for a short while. She came in. She was okay. She was good, if I remember correctly. She wasn't somebody I had enough time to get to know, and she came in as a heel, and unless you are an exceptional heel, like when Rhea came in and was exceptional, and Shayna Baszler came in and was exceptional as a heel. You don't grab my attention in the same way as you do if you're a really top quality babyface. So that's no slight on her. That's just what
you haven't seen her at her best.
Yeah, that's just what grabs my attention. But yeah, I remember her being
any more
quite
skilled
good.
women. Good, in all honesty. Let's be honest. They need more women, and they need more solid women's matches. He says with mostly positive reviews of women's matches this week. We discussed in the future.
Yeah. So all in all, an interesting week. I'm a little concerned about this going to tape live. I'm hoping they're not going to go to live tapings, and they're just going to do as in it's just come out in the news incorrectly, and what they're actually doing is taping up until again.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see. My corporate judgment scale is pretty high as a human, as you're probably aware of from some of my several rants about don't buy from big companies, etc. And one of the reasons I don't watch WWE is because I think there's a lot of moral bankruptcy going on there that I don't want to help fund, my little anarchist corner. So I'm going to have to watch this properly closely. I'm going to be like, go anti-corporate Strange, observe the morals of AEW. Because I know Cody got a little bit of internet heat for liking a tweet that was basically pro-Republican. Because, not hardly any wrestlers are Republican, are they? None of them.
I think one of the problems is that AEW have very much garnered a feeling of being very
progressive.
Yeah, being progressive is a good. I don't want to say Democrat because I don't think they've sat in a political, chosen a political side. But yeah, for being progressive.
You can be a progressive Democrat, Republican person. I've got no political views I want to throw out, but if you want to be like a moral, ethical capitalist, yeah, fucking great. It's if it works and it's making the upper echelons better, then fuck it. Welcome to our politics podcast. My name's Strange.
Let's get back onto wrestling, and I believe it is that time to choose the Twitter of the week. And over to you.
Why it has to be the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer?
Yes, or specifically a tweet he sent. Or
I've been robbed, by the way. This is going to build into this now. So I'm not good at Twitter, and I'm our assigned Twitter guy because I can't do any of the other technological stuff. So I tweeted out, I think anybody who watches AEW would agree with, that there's nothing in life I want to see more than Lance Archer versus Wardlow in a man-throwing contest. Because fuck can they throw people far. That was robbed. That is currently a poll on the AEW TNT. That they're... who would win in a man tossing contest, Lance or
Did they not have the decency to like our original tweet about this?
No, I've been robbed. And the fact they called it a man tossing contest does not work well in the British dialogue, does it?
No, that doesn't.
Anyway, the one Lance responded to us with, so I had to go off that. That happened just before I came on. I was like, "You sons of bitches! You've stolen my hilarious tweet."
Gimmick infringement.
Gimmick infringement. Yeah. So good old Lance Archer. I found a comic of from Extra Fabulous Comics, brilliant little set of comics. They've got things on Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. I'm a personal fan of them. Of somebody speaking to God and going, and he's like, everybody dies except for Sean. And then there's just a guy screaming Sean with a knife in his head, just going, Sean! So I sent that to Lance Archer. We're like, yo, Lance Archer, don't fight Sean Spears. Obviously my love. And he tweeted back with a Keenan and Kel gif of all things of, guess what? Everybody dies. And I was like, oh my God, Lance Archer has responded to me. Now, I don't know if, I'm not going to say super famous, if celebrity wrestlers tweeting back to people was a thing. Like, because I was like, wow, a response from a celebrity. And I'm not a big celebrity guy, just kind of cool. So I plowed into the Murder Hawks Twitter account at Lance Hoyt. And yeah, he's always responding to his fans. Like, he's really solid. Lots of everybody dies gifs. He'll comment in response to people making jokes about him on AEW things. But he had a really respectful conversation with Kevin Nash, which is a difficult thing to have because as much as I have respect for the Big Sexy, he's a little bit antagonistic, is the Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash accused Lance of not being able to pull off his finisher on anyone bigger than Marco Stunt after his debut. So Lance was like, all right, just wait and see. And then has just sent him loads of gifs of just him pulling off his fucking over-the-top powerbomb murder finisher, which name I really should know. And then Kevin Nash was like, oh, fair play. And they had like a nice friendly discussion on the internet, which is really fucking rare amongst wrestlers. And he's always sending like reassuring tweets to Jake the Snake whenever he's having a bad day, because obviously Jake has bad days. Man's got a lot of issues, and I hope he's doing well. He's got a strong gift game, gifts everywhere, really nice. He is very Christian. I don't if that's an issue for people, not an issue for me, but he's always like, God bless and God is good, and you know, like a proper wholesome Christian who happens to be a like 6'6" hyper murder machine. Loads of videos and bits of him of here's me in Japan doing some cool and violent shit. If you actually want to learn a bit more about him, because his career began in TNA, back when TNA was good before it collapsed. TNA.
And then rebirth. His finisher is the Blackout.
That's the Badger, yeah. So yeah, just him doing like the Blackout on Bad Luck Fale, who's like 400-pound man and stuff. So yeah, he's really active. He's really friendly. Loads of like actual wrestling footage and very, very respectful. It's kind of like a nice place to visit, if I'm completely honest. In between the threat, the occasional messages of "I'm going to murder you" and "prepare to die" to other wrestlers and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, follow Lance Archer or at least give him a look. He's a good lad. Learning Twitter. I'm becoming a Twitter person. Also, though, with the AEW's live shows, if you can watch Dynamite, obviously over here it's pretty late, but what is time anymore, if I'm completely honest with you? They've had loads of like live tweet-alongs. It started like 3 weeks ago, and they had some sort of tweet-along and win a prize or something. And I didn't really notice because I wasn't really, wasn't really paying that much attention. But then they did it again with last week. It was the week before the one we've just watched. It was Sean Spears will respond to your tweets from ringside, and so that was all a bunch of different things going on. Last week, the one we've just watched was win one of Cody's weight belts. Jericho's been tying in with a bunch of stuff like get to contribute to that fucking stupid dance thing. So yeah, AEW's Twitter, especially if you're actually about when it's live, really good. You can win stuff, get to chat with some of the wrestlers, like really good social media communication work in this time of no communication amongst humans. So that's me on Twitter this week. But meow.
That's excellent.
I'm getting better at this. I'm now like writing out. I've learned what people do on Twitter, so it's not just me going, "This man funny." Cookie is funny though. So what's next?
So on to our week in review, and yeah. So we said we'd start off with this BTE 200. The whole episode pretty much was Matt versus Nick with the Falls Count Anywhere. Matt wins with an elbow drop from the decking, and I believe we're going to give it a score.
Yes, I I originally...
You know what we've missed?
Oh, it's my tier list, isn't it?
We are right, so we're going to have to take a pause because we've actually missed a piece here, because this might be your first episode, and therefore you won't necessarily know our tier list. So we will quickly jump in, and Mr. Strange will explain our tier list.
Okay, so
rank matches.
Tier lists, quite well known in certain YouTube channels and weebs and people who like Japanese games like Resident Evil. Obviously, based on a school system originally, it goes from D up to S. Basically, from terrible to fucking superb. Woo! So a D match is a match I've not had a very good time enjoying. I'm going to compare things this week to horror films that I like. It was going to be survival horrors, but there were too fucking many of those games. So in D, we've got something which is just, generally uninspiring. You haven't had a good time. Your time could have been spent better in any other way. So that's basically any horror film about a nun. Nobody really enjoys a horror film about a nun or can say it was good. Even if you enjoy it, you can't say it was good. C is your solid good time. You've watched the match, the moves have gone off well, there's enough story, but you're not really mind blown. What you should expect. For my C, I've given it. Now, this is a personal favourite film of mine, but I appreciate it's not the best horror film. I've gone with Evil Dead 2. Hilarious, gory, not particularly scary on the horror film scale. Good film, but not many people are listing it as their best film, except in a comedy cult classic way. B, something that does things well. Something which takes it above that mark where you go, oh, that was a good match. And I've gone with comparing it to Aliens. Not the original Alien, Aliens. Because although Alien is a phenomenal film, and I really enjoy it, not the best horror film. You're not really getting that horror feel except in certain moments. It's more of an action thing, but that action, dialogue, banter takes it up to being just above that average film you could watch. A, you've got something which excels. Either the wrestling is perfect, the storytelling is amazing, but the match should still be good. The other side still needs to carry it. You need that combination of story to skill, but we want something more. We want it to really shine in all aspects. And I've gone with the horror film, The Witch. A film I wasn't actually that keen of at the ending, but I have to give it credit. It's got a lot of fucking tension and a lot of cool horror in it, even if the ending costs it from being an S-rank film. S-rank is the perfect film, the perfect match. You've got your story, you've got your fantastic wrestling, you don't look at anything else from start to finish. Everything is beautiful. You can look at it again objectively and you go, yes, that was art. And there's only really one S-rank horror film for me in my mind, and that's The Thing. Fantastic film with pacing, story, practical effects, and Kurt Russell. So that's my breakdown for how to rank things this week.
Right, now back to
BTE.
Back to our scheduled programming. Yes, Matt versus Nick, falls count anywhere. Matt wins with an elbow drop from the decking. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
Okay, so when I originally watched this, I was like, I'm not going to make notes. I'll just enjoy it, and we'll naturally flow with it. But then it's been a little while and a few days of drinking, so I actually rewatched it this morning, and I've got a full page of notes on it. So here we are. Any meta joke I love. So Matt's entrance with the fucking money gun, somebody throwing money, made me piss. Selection of meta jokes obviously throughout, but I enjoy that. There were a lot of times I went oof in this because I've been bumped onto a ring lightly, and I was watching people being actually bumped into concrete, grass, all manner of things, and I mean they must have been hurting each other. The environment use. Sorry, go on.
Just going to say, most of the way through this was the Raptor was just like, don't kill him, please.
The use of the environment. We had wall flips. We had running and kicking up off walls. We had people knocked into sofas. We had a flip over a tennis net. That's the word for a lot of string tied together. The golf cart bit, brilliant. Notice how nobody lied down for like nearly 10 seconds whenever they were hit. And they used their environment as they went round a location in a no rules match. Not comparing this to any other matches that have been long and with no rules recently. No, none whatsoever. Did you notice the really good wrestling in the gym?
Yes, I did wonder.
Yeah, I'm just saying, nice little use of environment, some actual like wrestling and slams. I really enjoyed whichever of the Buck's wife it was closing the blinds so the kids couldn't see, which was unfair.
I think it was Nick. But I'm making an assumption there.
Anybody who closes the blinds before Amanda's 5 rolling Northern Light suplexes is just not a humane person. Then obviously it goes a little bit weirder. Don't gonna get me wrong. We had the swimming pool pin. We had the jump off the roof onto the table where there was a bit of an awkward cut. I can't blame them for cutting that. Nobody's gonna actually jump off the roof through a table onto the ground when you don't, really need to. These are my small criticisms, by the way, because you've got to get some in. The fucking teleporting with the merch freak magic to the Shawn Michaels scene.
Oh, the barbershop.
Yeah, I thought of you.
That was just hilarious.
The fake blood could have been better, but that's a LARPer criticism because I'm quite good at making fake blood. The editing, as I said, started to suffer a little bit towards the end. The bumping on the decks, the obvious shovel hit not hitting. I'm being judgmental, These are things I noticed. I think the last few minutes of the match weren't as strong as the beginning of the match, basically. The sorry with I love you text made me fucking pissed, though. That was hilarious. I think I would have preferred a cooler end, like a cooler, I don't know, a bit more Buck spot monkey end. And so for the overall match, when I was looking at this, I was like, it's good. I'm having a good time and it's really fun. Is the match worthy of an S compared to, let's be honest, the Boneyard and the Funhouse match? And I was like, it's a really high A, but I'm not sure if the match on its own is quite an S. But then the episode went into that cut of just running through all the things they'd been through. And, the build of AEW, which was part of like them thinking about things. And with that bit of like little heartwarming story catching, like people might not have watched a lot of BTE, and if they did advertise this one, they watch this, you get to see a little run up of the history. So I think overall, though I'd give the match like a high A for meta jokes and just things I'd enjoy, the weaker ending brought it down from an S for me, but then that little selection of cutscenes brought it back just a little bit, an S-rated piece of this is what AEW is and who they are.
The match is an A. The show was an S.
Yeah.
We're saying, because what we usually mention BTE, and our plan has always been, is should you watch this BTE?
You should.
I would say yes. Yes, you really should. And they've given us another cliffhanger, which they better pay off this time. I will not be happy, because I want to know what the cliffhanger is. There's that thing they've got to do.
Oh. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see the last bit of the episode, so I've forgotten the cliffhanger.
It's them in the car. I think it was just after the match. They both get in the car.
Oh yeah.
Right, we've got that. Where are we going? Well, we've got that thing we've got to do. So let's see what that is. So from there, from a strong BTE episode 200, we went to Dark, which had 2 matches. What was your overall thought? As Dark, we normally just give it an overall. For those who don't know, by the way, because we may have some listeners who don't, and I know we've got a friend who's kind of considering getting into watching AEW. Dark, you can watch for free on YouTube. That is what the show is, and that's why
every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday you can watch it. Obviously, we normally end up watching it on a Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, because it's late.
Because it's late for us. So Dark you can just watch on YouTube. What was your overall thoughts on Dark this week?
Actually, I've got a couple of notes. Anna Jay versus Penelope. I'm glad Anna Jay's back. I like the Evil Magician. It was a solid match. Didn't blow my mind. Good, not amazing.
Interesting that Anna Jay was playing the face this time.
Yeah, I suppose they're going to see where she lands, because she could go either way, and Kip and Penelope are the solid heels.
Yeah,
and I'll always big up Kip. I really like that in Penelope's roles, Kip does exactly what Penelope does in his matches for her. because it's a traditionally female role in how you look at wrestling. You know, the woman comes out to help the man at the side of the ring by doing devious shit. And Kip is doing exactly the same stuff, just in a sexy man wanker way, and I love it. So always thumbs up for that. A little bit of egalitarianism.
And also Kip always bumps for the ladies as well.
He does.
When
they want intergender. They want it.
when he grabs them and they kick him off and whatever, he always sells as well, which always impresses me. He hasn't got to be I'm not
buff man.
Yeah, I'm not selling for her. You know,
no.
Yeah, we know he doesn't have an issue because he sold for Riho in that match. But yes,
Joe Alonso versus Cody. I really like Joe Alonso. I think he's got loads of potential, as they often say. I quite enjoying watching the character breakdown of Cody. Does look like he's going crazy, doesn't it?
He was a lot more aggressive in this match.
Yeah,
that's my main note. Much more aggressive Cody.
Like I've made notes about his body language being great. Like how at the end he was like properly seething, and then he just sort of clicked and put on his Cody smile. I was like, oh, I hope this is meant to be intentional, really good acting, because I'm loving it. And I like Cody different endings. Because it used to be Cody 2 entrances, but we've not had a full Cody entrance for a while. But, you know, we've had different submissions now, different kinds of moves and stuff. Almost like he's trying to settle into a new finisher or something. And I'm enjoying that. I think that's quite good. Overall, it was a solid C. I had a good time. The overall dark C. Nothing displeased me. All the wrestling was largely good, but nothing exceptional, shall we say.
Yeah, I think they're still suffering from the problem of not having again, though, props for having the wrestler. Did they have the wrestler crowd in this one?
No, I don't know.
No, they didn't in Dark. No, that was in my which is another thing that, obviously it hurts it a little bit not having that crowd.
Always will.
Then we move on to Dynamite. So Dynamite opened with a Cody video promo.
Cody's secret lair.
Yes. What did you think of the promo, and did it merit a score?
I don't know. Like, I gave it a high score because I gave it an A as like a cinematic piece, but I kind of want to know where it goes, because he's like in his secret, high-end gamer chair, given a Cody promo, and Cody's great at doing all that. He put over everybody, and then but where am I? What can I do? Blah, 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 sort of thing. Very cinematic. Like, I'm not quite sure where... Like, when it's a meeting with Brody Lee and his minions, it's like, the third eye camera. And it's an active promo, like Jake, it's them sat in front of the camera talking to it. But this was like somewhere between. It was like an opening cutscene to a computer game. So although I enjoyed it, I'm not quite sure what cinematic direction we're going in AEW. I'm happy to watch.
Yeah, I think that they're playing with ideas, and at the moment we're having a lot more video promos, something which we didn't used to get before the current situation. They and was something that I know before we started doing the podcast we were both mildly critical of, in that maybe some more of these, or it may have been myself, and I think it was me and you talked about it as well, could have done with some more promos to get people over.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're getting into, because TNA used to have the very fly on the wall thing, which some people hated, some people really liked. I liked it because the idea it came across, the way I perceived it was, it came across as this idea that, unlike the WWE promos, when something happens backstage, you'd have this, the cameraman's there. Why would you do that in front of the cameraman? Whereas the TNA one gave that impression that they were being watched through the security cams.
Yeah, so stuff like that. Or just Lucha it.
Yeah. Lucha it, where they Lucha Underground.
It's a TV show. This is a TV show scene.
But
enjoy
it was
yourself.
Also, the commentators would never see the backstage bits.
Yeah, exactly.
Did any of the wrestlers? Only you saw them. So as a fan of babyface promos, and I'm going to say, I think currently, right now, Cody, and I'm sure I've said this in other weeks, but I don't know whether I've said it on the show or just generally, I truly believe that Cody is the best babyface promo in wrestling right now. For a babyface who can actually cut a babyface promo, I think he is streets ahead of everyone else.
I mean, I've only really got AEW and NJP dub to go on because I've not watched WWE in ages. So,
Well,
but yeah, no, I'd say Cody is a better babyface promo than most Japanese wrestlers. But it's such a weird, loss of language and different presentation. So yeah, I'm with you from what I've seen anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny's a fairly good babyface promo, but Cody is just a really good. But anyway, yes, from the Cody. I'm sorry, the score you gave it was
an A. Bit weird, but an A.
So commentary
good entertainment.
Once again, Tony Schiavone and Jericho, and we have our crowd.
One-man crowd, Austin Gunn and friends.
Yeah, one-man crowd, Austin Gunn and friends, because he is legendary. So we had a Sammy Guevara video promo and a Darby Allin video promo. What did you think? Did you give them a score, or were they just presets for the match?
I've got a couple of comments. The Sammy promo, I expected to be a bit more fun. Like, I'm not quite on board with more like serious, I'm going to kick some ass, Sammy. I think he needs that goofy / twat edge that makes him the young Jericho protege. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe that's just me. The Derby one, with the music, the music just didn't quite fit to me. So it felt a bit like a perfume or a Guinness advert this time. I was like, "Oh, here we are." Okay. Sammy lost points because he did the belt action, and I fucking hate the belt hand action. Where they put their hands around their waist and move it backwards and forwards. Like, I'm going to get the belt. I'm like, every time I hate it.
That's only ever been cool once. And it was many years ago, and it was the first time The Undertaker did it, because it was almost a break from character.
Okay.
And that is, to me, that particular action has only ever been cool once. And it was the first time Undertaker did it, because of it was such a big thing, because he just did it at the end of a match, not to the champion.
Ooh. I'm glad you're here with your historic knowledge.
I remember that. So then we had Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin in the TNT tournament match, and Darby wins with the Last Supper. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
A while to get that ladder in place, didn't it? He turned it over and everything. I had a good time. I've made my normal note, which is the nickname we gave Darby Allin after his first match with Cody, before we knew he was straight edge, which was Darby Allin, the indestructible crackhead. Because he just gets, that kid's bumps. He's going to need to take a break before he gets older. He's going to have Jeff had a Matt Hardy intervention where he stops him being a spot monkey. Darby, when he started going crazy, like the initial beating outside the ring, air was all right. This is scary. Look at this. And then when Darby went crazy, I was a lot more invested. Like the limb work, the submission work, some of the blows. It looked like a real hate fight. Like it had some proper fucking heart in it. Then when they were both bleeding, it was Darby nosebleed, and I think Sammy split his lip.
Yeah,
during the fight.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, is this rough? Is this a bit of a shoot fight? Do they actually hate each other?
I think they're just working stiff because you haven't got that crowd. They're trying to add that, and they wanted to make this. They're doing a good job, and I think they're really trying to make this belt seem like it's important to them.
Yeah, they are.
Which makes the belt important.
Well, we needed that because I wasn't sold on it. I did make another shout out because Jericho is going to get Shug D over so much. He shits on him in every single show, and it's awesome. Jericho just working for the indie wrestler out in the crowd casually whilst he's there. The end sequence had a really nice set of counter sequences and stuff, which was really cool. You can tell they're really good together. I think I was just like a Raw match. It was probably a high B, but I was leaning towards an A with the story work and all the things that went in. Yeah, high B, A. It was a really good match. Oh, I don't know if I've made that an A. Then maybe my match of the night needs to go up a rank. Oh no. Yeah, let's go with a high B, just because I couldn't quite sell it on myself. I think it started a bit awkwardly.
Yeah,
and breaks have been fucking hurting every match this time. I don't know why.
yeah.
The breaks seem to come really badly placed.
Well, so we kept an eye on them, right? So, in case you don't watch Dynamite, we both, myself and Strange, we watch it on Fight TV, and normally on Fight TV they don't have a break during. Occasionally they will have a break. Obviously they have a lot on TNT because television has a lot of ad breaks. And normally what happens is the commentators, the match continues, and we get to see. So if you do watch AEW on Fight TV, you get more, and you rarely get the breaks. Obviously, what they're doing is because it's pre-taped.
We get all the breaks.
We get all the breaks, and then but the nice thing is the match just starts from where it left off pretty much. There isn't a whole section in the middle that we're not getting to see, which is what normally happens on when you watch wrestling normally, unless you're watching it on Fight, where they just continue. I may not have explained that very well at all.
We now have more adverts because it's the TV version, not the Fight version.
Yeah,
and boy, do they come at bad times.
But they do. But I think that just shows you how they come at bad times. If we were watching it on normal television,
live on American TV, yeah, that'd be awful. I've not checked up the ITV reviews. I know that people complained about that being weirdly censored or something when it first comes out. Just watch it on Fight. Who watches terrestrial television now anyway?
Yeah, I mean it's like what £4 a month.
Yeah.
To watch AEW, and you're supporting AEW, which if you enjoy them,
should.
Which is it's the reason we bought it rather than even watching it on ITV, where we could have watched it on our normal terrestrial television. We could have watched it on the internet on ITV, whatever their TV player is. But yeah, we just got the Fight TV. We can watch it as soon as it comes out.
It's easier to get pay-per-views as well because you just throw money at a fight and then you've got the pay-per-view. And you can watch the NJP dub pay-per-views, which I will recommend at a different time. Yeah, they've got them on there.
Oh, remember that one. Yes.
Look up the G1.
Let's get so
back to A-dubs.
Yeah. So High B.
High B.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. Really enjoyed it. I think Sammy and Darby have got a lot of chemistry together.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see, so if you go back to the Attitude Era and you watch the rise of Triple H, Stone Cold, and The Rock, the three of them kind of, I think Austin was just ahead of the other two, but he still was in some of those mid-card feuds.
Austin
on their way
was
up.
About stomping anyone.
Yeah, on their way up. And I think you can see that. I think Darby and Sammy are future. Certainly lower top card.
I think Darby will go all the way to the top at some point.
Yeah, they've got. I wouldn't surprise me if Sammy does. So anyway, after that we had a Matt Hardy promo, which was a double promo with half of it from Broken Matt, and then the other half where Matt sort of shot the promo as himself, as the entity Matt, the vessel. Matt Hardy. What did you think of the promo, and what score did you give it?
Hilarious. I love the meta jokes, which I comment on all the time. Calling Sammy Guevara Samuel, Spanish jokes, false deity, etc. The fact he was aware Hardy kind of confused me a little bit. Just because of settling into canoninity, basically. Where is this story? But I suppose if he can unpossess himself, then, fair cop. I gave it a B. It was a bit long. It wasn't the best of Matt Hardy. I wasn't too sure on the flip. I had a good time, don't get me wrong. But, a B. It was funny, just a little, not as consistent as some of the other bullshit, basic comedy gold.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked that we had a silly Broken Matt. I mean, obviously, they're quite limited to what they can do with Broken Matt at the minute. So I think the idea of the entity Damascus going leaving the vessel, which is, I think, how he can unpossess himself. I think that the entity lets the vessel speak. I thought that Matt's promo was really good. Wasn't, it wasn't an Austin 316 promo. It wasn't going to change the world. It wasn't the pipe bomb, but I thought it was a good, solid promo.
Yeah, it was strong.
I think I'm with you on that score again.
Awesome. It was. I mean, like, we've got a lot of B's, but B is good. This has been a really good episode.
Yeah. Then we had Taz discussing Kenny Omega's moves in a video promo. It was okay.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we first discussed these, and I said I thought they were like comedy scenes because of his Crayola pencil and how he was doing things.
Yeah.
When it's actually done with like proper graphic analyticals and stuff, I've no longer could I just see Taz drawing like wax crayon lines at things and going, yeah, look at the arch on this. So now it's not comedy. It's kind of ruined for me.
Yeah, they're just playing into Taz's old shoot fight gimmick from his fair. ECW days. Yeah, it was all right. I think I caught up on my notes during it.
Yeah, nothing special. I didn't grade it. I was just like, oh, this is a moment. It's not really for me. Maybe other people will enjoy it.
Yeah. It plays into their more sports-oriented show.
Which is a bit weird when you've also got in the previous scene, a man's possessing spirit left his body so they could speak to the wrestler underneath.
Yes.
I mean, just saying.
So after that, we had Alan Angels versus Kenny Omega, and then Kenny wins with the V-trigger. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
So obviously, when I looked at the card for this event, I was like, "Oh no, we're gonna have another run of shit squash matches." And when this came out, I just wrote down some guy versus Kenny. My top comment is F's in the chat. Then it was just like, oh, he's doing better than I thought he would, isn't he? Oh, that back jump onto Kenny's knees, though. Oh, just the guy was really good. There was loads of really good slams. It was not what I was expecting. I had a great match. I made sure I learned the name Alan Angels because brilliant. The little apron pull when Kenny was stood on it was just such a really cool move. There's loads of really cool moves, loads of good technical wrestling, loads of good high speed stuff. I don't think Kenny looked weak at all. Like some people on the internets after complained that why Kenny takes so long to fight a random guy, he best in world. And I was like, this guy looks fucking strong as fuck with his techniques, and Kenny still looks fucking badass. Like at the end where he just deadlifted him up, held him there, then slowly pulled him up into the powerbomb position. I was like, fuck, Kenny, be strong. Yeah, it blew all my expectations. I had a great time. I gave it a B, just on solid wrestling. If that guy had like a promo package before to sell him as like from the badass area of fuck knows where, and there'd been a little bit of story, that could have very possibly been an A. I thought it was wicked. I hope to see more Alan Angels.
Yeah, I can't believe that the internet sort of backlashed like that. It's basic Ric Flair. One of the reasons that I may have mentioned this before, and I know sometimes I'm going to sound like a stuck record because there are certain tropes that I will always go to, but one of the reasons that Ric Flair was regarded as the greatest of all time, or is regarded as the greatest of all time by the person I regard as the greatest of all time, Shawn Michaels, is because Ric Flair used to go around and make his opponents look great. So then, when he beat them, he'd beaten somebody. He didn't make them look like a chump, because then he just beat a chump.
Exactly that.
And that's what Kenny did.
It was fucking wicked.
Yeah, why it take Kenny time to beat this random guy? Well, this random guy was better. Kenny made him look better. Therefore, when Kenny beat him, Kenny beat someone, and this random guy now, as long as they don't throw him at Brody Lee next week to get squashed.
To get destroyed.
Yeah, that guy, I would be throwing him against someone like Cody or Matt or Nick. I don't, I'm trying to remember who the bait or Colt. I'm trying to remember who the baby faces are there. It gets a bit confusing when they keep switching babyface heel for the jobbers. I appreciate we watch it and we just sit there before and go, oh right, so they're playing heel or they're playing face this week. But I'd quite like to see that match was so good. You've built a guy there.
A lot of the complaints, I think, about why did it take Kenny so long comes from one of two crowds of people. One is the old NJPW people who want mega, cleaner, top of the card Kenny, which is, Kenny said he doesn't want to do. He's done that. That's why he's enjoying the tag league. And they're spiteful, like, oh, now nobody knows who Kenny is. Sorry, NJPW fans. Like, I knew who Kenny Omega was. A few people who are really into wrestling know who Kenny Omega was. But your average guy who was just watching like WWE didn't know Kenny Omega. He is no worse off than he would be in any other company. And WWE fans who are like, aha, your golden child has been fucked. Your company is terrible, because, that's what they like to do as well. Not that AEW fans don't do that back in a variety of other ways. Everybody is terrible on the internet.
Yes.
But I think it made Kenny look great. Like the strength he showed at the end, it made Alan Angels for me. Like I'm been following him and looking him up and shit. So yeah, solid match. Possibly my match of the night.
Okay. So then we had a Scorpio Sky promo about his career, and it was the first half. What did you think of the promo?
It was uplifting and heartwarming, and I hated it.
Yeah.
It was really well done.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hate this kind of stuff. It's good, though. You can have a B.
Yeah.
Like when you watch a film that's well made, but you don't like it,
So then on to Jimmy Havoc versus Orange Cassidy with the best friends. And Orange Cassidy wins with a roll-up. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
Started off a bit too one-sided for me. You got to see a lot of Jimmy Havoc's personality. There was a lot of rough moving. I did kind of one of my forth thoughts was it's a bit squashy. And oh god, Orange Cassidy goes red, and then obviously Orange Cassidy, flies in, pops up, hits that wicked pop-up spinny around DDT fucking thing he's got, does his drop kick, run to the top corner, tope, run, which I hope he gets another set of movesets, because I've seen that exact combo followed twice now, but that's me being pedantic. I enjoyed the interference section. I like the fact it wasn't just one side interfering, like the other people who were there actually got involved and there was a bit of back and forth. I like the fact that Orange Cassidy has a fancy roll-up pin as a finisher. It didn't roll quite as smoothly as it could have the first time, but it's nice to see a finisher which is a little bit different and a little bit out there, and a fancy pin combo is actually quite nice from a technical wrestling sort of bit. It was sort of middling into a C with how it went, but they've built up the story. We're going to get another match from it. I had a good time. I love the best friend, so I gave it a B. A lot of B's this week. A lot of B's.
I thought it was fun. Following that, we had an MJF promo. What did you think of this?
I love comedy heels. I think I love comedy heels as much as you love baby faces. I love the fact that Excalibur has always, since he's known MJF in the long run of indie shows from various whatever, he's called him MJF to anger him, and MJF hates it. And I love the fact he's called his fans his loyal MJFs. So that was a nice little thing for me. A lot of insults, the silly hangnail injury, solid funny, a B. Like, we're not quite hitting some of the top comedy things we've seen, but for a man who's just got a record probably from his friend's house down the road, I'm guessing, because from what I've seen of MJF, he ain't that rich in the shoot real, non-kayfabe. So funny, not amazing, but a nice little thing. Remind us that MJF's going. He's great.
Yeah, I think those are important, those little reminders. So after that, we had Lee Johnson versus Wardlow, and Wardlow wins.
Yeah, returning jobber versus Wardlow, as I wrote down. I wrote down Wardlow squashes get a pass as long as he throws someone further than Archer. Once again, this wasn't the worst squash match I've ever seen because returning jobber man actually got a few moves in. Like, yeah, we wiggled out some moves, did some counters and such like. I mean, they were all ineffective, but it wasn't just man goes through moveset and wins. And fuck, how far can he throw a man? Those release suplexes are just ludicrous. Hence why I tweeted Lance Archer with "I want you in a throwing contest against Wardlow," which was stolen from me by AEW. And that gorilla press into drop power slam looked fucking beautiful. It's probably the best squash match I've seen in recent times, and I would possibly call it a crush match, but it's still a D. But it's getting to near that point. If you throw a few more moves in that, and just a bit more little offensive for the other guy, it could have been a C. We were nearly there. We were nearly at a crush, not a squash. Squish, perhaps. I don't know.
After that was the Brody Lee promo. I didn't notice any Vince McMahon references. I'm sure there were some. What did you think?
Oh God, I've not even really it was it's the guy who tagged. I've learned more about this since my notes and I've not updated them. It's the guy being recruited for the 10 number from his American football stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
That appears to be the guy who was one of the could-be tag team partners for Sean Spears. The taller one who was actually really quite good. I think he abandoned in mid-match and the guy started fighting on his own and did really well. So because there's been a bit of back and forth on Twitter over that, he's been announced. My review just seems to be the two words of it was all right. It's nice to see them actually recruiting, and hopefully this can build up and getting some named people. He has given his minions numbers like the Monarch in the Venture Brothers. I don't know if you've ever watched the Venture Brothers.
I haven't.
You should. It's a Adult Swim cartoon series. They're typical, cynical bullshit. But there's an evil villain called the Monarch who looks like James AD and has a butterfly theme, and all of his minions just have numbers. They're like, oh, come on, number 10 and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued to see where it goes. It was all right. Nothing mind-blowing.
After that, we had Justin Law versus Brody Lee, and Brody wins with a discus clothesline. What did you give this match?
I hope that kid's got a slip to let him out of PE this week. The 12-year-old versus Brody. The guy who couldn't beat Sean Spears up against our leading monster, Brody. Brody's really impressive. You can see it in him. He's athletic, he's long-limbed, he's strong, he's agile, but I just don't care. It was a lazy squash match, which I gave a D to and will undoubtedly complain about later. Shall we say?
Yes. Then there was a very brief Best Friends promo, mainly to set up the match for next week, which I think was obvious after the end of the Orange Cassidy match, which will be Best Friends versus Havoc and Kip.
I'm sure we're going to get some little side on intergender there. I think they're going to keep hinting at us.
Yeah.
I obviously love this. The meta-ness. What was it? Do I want to fight Penelope? Yeah. Can I? Legally? No. I'll fight her boyfriend, I guess. Jimmy Havoc for some reason. It properly made me laugh.
Well, it's the Best Friends versus the Housemates.
Yeah, no. And they're all from the known indie traveling scene, like from Chikara through High Spots things. So it should be really, really good with them together. And yeah, it's the Housemates versus the Best Friends. It's the evil Best Friends versus the actual Best Friends. I gave it an A. I had a great time. Chucky T putting on his chains. Trent. I just love how they seem to be jaded people who can't be bothered with wrestling. And I love that. It brings me so much fucking joy.
You do realise there is going to be a point at some point soon where, you know how we downgrade all squash matches automatically, no matter what.
Just upgrade all Best Friends.
I may have to start overruling and downgrading all Best Friends promos. just to keep them in line. So after that, we had an episode of the Bubbly Bunch. which I believe was a TikTok dance-off joke. I might be a bit old to get this.
Yeah, me too. I think we might not only be a bit too old. I think we might be a bit too British to get this.
Yes.
We're a bit more, jaded than your average viewer, I'd say. I mean, people on Twitter seem to love it. Like, I had to do a check. I was like, "Is this shit?" Basically.
Yeah.
And then loads of people on the internet were like, "Oh, I really like that, and I'm going to send in my video." So I had to give it a C, grudgingly. Because although I loved it, if the public like it a lot, I have to acknowledge some kind of
yeah, they know something we don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't get it at all.
So then it was a Dustin and Kip promo, quick video promo to set up the match, and which was Dustin versus Kip Sabian in the round for the TNT tournament, and Dustin wins with the code red. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
Well, first I'm going to criticize the promo work before this, because if you ever give me I'm going to retire if I lose this match, I instantly go, "Oh, you've won then."
Yeah.
If you win, I kind of go, "Ugh." But if they lose, I'm like, "Ooh," like Cody with the "I will never challenge for the title again" thing. That when he lost, I was like, "Fuck." I didn't think Dustin was going to lose. To review the match, sorry, go on.
No, I thought it telegraphed the match too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this wasn't something high. If this had been the final,
yeah,
that
it
would
felt
have been
like
different.
false hype, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, what you review of the match? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Solid work, good. Kip's really agile. Penelope and Kip are great. There was limb work, which is nice. Tell a bit of story in the ring. Even if Dustin's knee does have varying injury levels, like even compared to wrestlers, like I expect wrestlers to like hop on one leg and bounce about, and then do a run and flip off something, but then go ooh. But Dustin's just seemed really inconsistent to me. Otherwise, really good match, solid, good storytelling. I'm really glad Brandy got to use her bionic shoulder, because I really like Brandy, and I feel like Brandy's possibly cut herself back to a previous role she didn't want to be in just because of how badly the Nightmare Collective got fucking botched, because it was terrible. And I kind of wanted... Go on.
She's not great in the ring.
She could have learned. We said that about Britt at the start, and we've not seen Brandy there since then.
I think with her job, or the brand manager, etc., I don't think she's got time to put whereas Britt is, she's a dentist, but she's also she's a dentist and a wrestler, so she does put the time in all the time. Do you know what I mean? And she can go and practice very easily.
Yeah. But it was nice to see Brandy doing something, just because I think she deserves a little bit more credit than all the shit talking she got at the time. It was a good match, just obvious. I still don't feel Dustin's Destroyer, but I've criticised that enough. The wrestling was good enough to give it a B for me, and the little hype video before was good. So yeah, B. It wasn't the finale to the show I would have liked, but you can't really have Kenny versus some guy as the finish to your show, I suppose. No. Even though it was the best match.
Quick thought, would you have flipped these round then and had Dustin Kip as the opener, which would have still been a strong match and still scored a B, and had Sammy and Darby as the finisher?
Yeah, I think so. I think, although I've ran on the same, I think the two I had a bit more hype from the young lads. No, I'm with you on that. That would have been a better one for me, because pretty much every match is good in this, and I even enjoyed to a degree one of the squash matches. So didn't finish as well as it started. There we go.
Yeah. So I'm guessing our overall score is a B.
Yeah, shocking that, isn't it?
Yeah, because there was a lot of B's in there.
This B. Everything was really good, like really entertaining. Just obviously you can't quite get into all the story arcs and stuff or have all of your people who are best together in these trying times.
Yeah. So that's our review of the week. Now we move over to our questions and our emails. And guess what?
Got another question.
We've had another email. This is from Tom J. Recently discovered your podcast, really enjoyed your booking of Kurt Angle's retirement, which brings me to a booking question I'd like to pitch at you. Rusev seems like a great pickup for AEW after recent WWE shenanigans. Not sure if you agree, but he seems like someone who in recent years had the talent to be a top guy only to be ruined by terrible WWE booking. So I guess the question is a two-parter. Do you think Rusev has what it takes to be a top guy in AEW? And how would you book him if he were picked up? Thanks for the show, Tom J. Thanks for the mail, Tom. So I'm guessing I'm going to have to lead on this because I'm guessing you don't know Rusev that well.
I can go in with the notes I've made and what I think, and you can correct me. I
Yeah.
can give you the base facts I worked off. So I started on my notes with Rusev. What I know, he's large.
Yep.
He's Bulgarian. And he's a
Yep.
good guy with a hint of the goofy.
Yes.
I planned his first dig because obviously everybody gets one free dig if you come from WWE.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Which is where I came from, took everything from me, even my wife. I know about that terrible storyline. So I'm going to start going, and you tell me, you correct me in where you think a better thing would be. So I thought you bring him in as like a mid-card face trying to find his place. He's got this good guy attitude. He's got this big guy build, and he starts saving people from other heels. Not because he's like, a superhero or whatever, just because it's the right thing to do. You know, when Ortiz and Santana do over pretty much they could be doing over Colt Cabana out of, evil shenanigans, and outruns Rusev to defend him. Not because he's like Colt Cabana's best friend, not because he hates the Inner Circle, just because that's the right thing to do. You don't let people get beat up. But this will give him a natural enemy. Somebody like, a true shitty heel, somebody like Kip or Havoc or somebody like that. Then they can have a bit of a feud. I forgot to... But you build this up because you can have Kip going for the mid-card belt at the time. So Kip's getting a position of power. But then these heels start beating up Rusev. My last note was Kip has the belt somehow. but when people start beating up Rusev, when Jimmy Havoc and Penelope do over Kip in the ring, random other faces come to help Rusev. Because over these passing months, he's built up like a force of friends who know that he's this force for faces. You know what I mean? So when he's finally overwhelmed as like this chonk beast face who's standing up against, let's be honest, the significant number of heels in AEW.
Yeah.
Slowly, one at a time, people come out to help him. And it's not like a stable. It's not a thing. It's just Rusev is a good guy who's helping the business. And then you can build him up to claiming this mid-card belt, because when they try to outnumber him in the ring or doing him backstage, he's saved by his own good deeds.
Yeah.
You go now because you know the character better.
Yeah. No, I quite like that. So the first part of the question was do we think what it takes to be a top guy in AEW? So I'm always very worried about the TNA booking, where they used to bring somebody in who was an upper mid-carder in WWE, push them to the top, and then you'd go, oh, well, I can see why he was an upper mid-carder. So Rusev, on the other hand, has had the potential for a long time. He's good in the ring. He's legitimately funny. Now, because of his size and obviously because he was not American, he was a heel for Vince, but because of his size and he's a big destroyer, he's another obvious heel. We've got a lot of big destroyer heels. Yeah,
we do.
We've got a lot of them. So the way I would book him is sort of similar. Firstly, so do I think he has what it takes to be a top guy? That needs to be proved, but I think he has what it takes to be a lower top card guy, so a challenger to a heel world champion eventually. But before you do that, I agree with you. We go for the TNT Championship. The TNT Championship is held by the Murder Hawk. The Murder Hawk, and he is just destroying everyone. Absolutely everyone is getting destroyed by him. No one's coming near. We're talking 6-month reign here. So he needs a 6-month solid reign. Nobody can touch him. And you even get to the point where, so you can have that bit in the middle about 3 months in, where the only monster babyface we have currently in AEW, Luchasaurus, comes in and makes his challenge. And you can see there's a lot more back and forth there. Obviously, Darby is another one who has a good back and forth, just because Darby will not die no matter what Lance does. But eventually,
Indestructible crackhead.
Yeah, he's indestructible, but Lance will eventually overcome him. You can have a similar thing with Luchasaurus, like they've done before with Luchasaurus, where you've had the big guy versus the big guy, and then so you can get to this point where Jake the Snake can start doing the, there is no one, there is absolutely no one who can stand against him. You might as well all just give up. This belt is just his. Obviously, a much better promo, a classic Jake promo. At which point you hear some music that we've never heard before. And I don't know whether you bring out a manager to sort of say, well, I've got a guy, or whether this music comes out and you over the top and you just have a silhouette, almost like old Jericho style, and you bring Rusev out just sort of like as this silhouette, and he comes out not as this in anything other, and it's similar thing to you, he comes out as the monster babyface.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That's similar to you in that you play him as a good guy, but you play him that he's legitimately funny and he's sharp. And so he had the gimmick, which was the Rusev Day, which was every day was Rusev Day, and it was a holiday, and that's what got over for him. And there was once a point when he's just in a conversation with someone, and someone goes, well, it's going to be this day, and he just turns around and goes, you can't make up your own holiday, bro. And it's just, but that was the cusp of him turning face, and you could feel that,
he looks facey. I'm sorry, it's like my Sean Spears issue. He looks like a face.
He's quick and just amusing. And I would have him be the one to topple Lance Archer. That will put him in as a destructive, but you have him a destructive baby face, because I like a monster baby face. It adds a lot. AEW use a lot of run-ins. And the ability to have that guy who can stand up to Wardlow, stand up to different guys with that. Oh,
a bit of Age of the Faces.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure he's got what it takes to be the top guy yet, but I think he needs the chance to prove that he can be.
I mean, from my perspective, I'm going to just talk over you. I don't care about, I've said this a few times, about people being at the top of the winning streak. For me, being a top guy just means that I know you're a top guy. It's like when I watch Trent wrestle. I know Trent is a top tier wrestler, but his gimmick is being fun in the mid card. Like how Jericho used to be back in wrestling childhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could be a top guy without needing to be at the top of the overall card numbers thing. As long as you're getting your wins in, you have some good matches. You can occasionally eat a loss to one of the top ones. But if you're getting the attention and people, if you're over, you're over. For me, that's a top guy in my mind. And I think if you're put into the mid card fun character story areas with a lot of character, and you can wrestle, you will be as over as anybody who's carrying that number one belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like your idea probably better than mine. Mostly because I forgot Lance Archer was probably going to likely win that belt, so I was like, for some reason, Kip's got the belt. Shit, the facts.
So yeah, I hope we've answered your question. Thank you for writing in. Remember, please send us questions, send us ideas for discussion, send us things for us to rant about. I've just realised that I've skipped ahead of something here, but we'll have to go back to that now. We are wrestleopinionated@gmail.com. We are WrestleOP1 on Twitter, and we are WrestleOP on Facebook. Now, it is time for Mr. Strange to give us his rant of the week.
I think it's time I covered this one because I shit on them an awful lot. Here is Matthew Strange's thoughts on why squash matches are shit. Now, when I say a squash match, I mean like 3 minutes of no offense. When I think of a squash match, I think everything we've seen Brody Lee do / most matches with Bork Lazar. They serve no purpose. You're watching the card and it's like, oh, cool. Here comes Jeff No Name versus the Unstoppable Man Mountain. Oh boy, I wonder who's going to win. And it just makes no sense. Like AEW, WWE, they all do it. We have the best wrestlers in the world. No one wrestlers like wrestlers at AEW / WWE / Smoky Mountain Wrestling are the biggest, buffest men in all of reality, except for this guy we've brought out to fight the fucking brick wall. It's like, it'd be like trying to sell a Thor movie with fucking Chris Hemsworth at his most fucking henchest, and you wheel out Pee Wee Herman, and he's like, "Go Thor!" So obviously he just fucking punches him into a bag of sand, and it's over. Like it doesn't make them look hard because you know they're gonna win. You're not entertained by the match. No one comes off well from this. Just sell them with a fucking promo package. He killed big, like the Lance Archer ring thing. I know, give him a training montage, or just turn it into a match. Add 4 minutes on. Give whoever's coming in a promo package. I suggested this earlier. Just be like what they did with Joe Cobb. Most people didn't know who Joe Cobb was. You knew who Joe Cobb was from Lucha Underground. I knew him from NJPW. Average Western wrestling watcher, not going to know Joe Cobb. But they did here's him slamming people in Japan. He's got an Olympic medal. What a great guy. Just, show them with some offense. Show them with something. Bring them in. Maybe he's really skilled, but he just can't hit hard enough. Maybe he's got like all of the moves and all of the skill, but he just can't withstand the power of them. Have them bounce off. They almost did it with the Wardlow match. We had a couple of reversals, a couple of blows that he sold, that he no-sold. Cool. Just give me a few more minutes of that. Have the guy, like, he ate 2 fucking crossroads from Cody and got up. Have him get fucking annihilated. Hit him with a Death Valley driver and have him just sit up like the fucking Terminator. It doesn't matter. Otherwise, there's just no point. You just give me a video package of Wardlow fighting in a car park again to make him look hard, or the Lance Archer thing, or a training montage of him benching like 200k or something. I'll shit my pants and go, fuck, he looks really hard. Or make the match crazier. Bust out 2 jobbers at once. I'll watch 3 times Jobber and the 12-year-old in a match against Lance Archer. And then I'd think he's a bit harder. I'd be like, well, none of these guys are particularly hard, but he is fighting 2 guys at the same time. I'd rather watch 10 minutes of Brody Lee versus 2 scrubs and just his highlight move reel just over and over. So he does the big booty thing, done a big slammy thing. He's thrown him into the corner. He's done another thing, and now he's done his finisher. Hooray! I mean, not even get to see Brody Lee do a hurricanrana. I know he can do a hurricanrana. You need somebody above like 5'9" for him to do a hurricanrana on. The man's a giant. The matches just don't get anyone over. The little guy just goes home and goes, well, I had my ass kicked today by a 6'6" man with a beard, which is, in all honesty, what most of them are. And the other guy's like, I don't want to watch. I mean, I'm not a boxing fan, but back in the day, I wouldn't want to have watched Mike Tyson versus Jeff from the Shops. I'm not going to think Mike Tyson's a great boxer once he's annihilated a man. Just mix it up. You can do something else. Have a promo beating people up. Have a cut scene. Have a 2-on-1 match. We just need something to bust this up, to break this things, because nobody wants a 3-minute snore fest just watching a giant man do 4 moves. You could just show me a scene going, this man's stronger than the others. And I'd be like, oh, okay, fair cop. Woo! And maybe they are limited on talent, but I love Chucky T and Sean Spears. But if one of them ate shit to Brody Lee or Lance Archer and got in a bit of offense with their silly attitude or some of their cool moves, I wouldn't feel that they'd lost out because these other guys are massive Terminators on the current big push. But I would at least feel like Lance Archer or Brody or whoever had beaten someone, And that's why squash matches are shit. We need to go to squish matches or crushes. Things
Yep.
I've invented mid-show. Just hate them. Just so bored.
I think it throws back to what we said about the Kenny match and
Exactly.
the Ric Flair thing. You beat no one, you don't look like you're someone.
If you make someone, you both look like somebody.
Yeah. So now it's time for our discussion of the week. And Mr. Strange, you are going to lead us off this week.
Oh, I'm in with the lead. Our discussion being who should be next champion. There's 2 title champions now, so I should actually know the name of the main belts.
The AEW World Champion.
Lead us in, Strange. I've already fucked it. Who should be the next AEW World Champion? I was going to say, who should be the champion? And I was like, oh no, there's the TNT one now. We did that one the other week. So I had to have a bit of a think about this one, because I know where I think the belt should go. But it's not where the belt should be next. Now, I think I've been quite critical of Comrade Moxley and his Our Belt champion run. I think I've ripped on him a bit. Our Belt Moxley, is it? And I know that the belt has to wind up on Hangman Adam Page. He's their first homegrown, big, meaty boy face star who's got so over the crowd with drunken millennial shenanigans and seemingly remarkably deep plot work. Who takes the belt from Mox? It's got to be a heel because Moxley is a face and it is our belt, and I can't see Stone Cold lukewarm John Moxley. Yeah, Stone Cold John Moxley dropping that. So I've got 3 options. And I'm quite keen on all of them, so I'm going to put these out here, and then you can give me yours, and I'm going to see which one matches my one the best for the best situation here. Choice 1, MJF. 1, he's got the shenanigans. MJF has not been sold at a power level where he can beat John Moxley in a one-on-one fight, but we know he's got the shenanigans. He's got the ring. He's got dick kicks. He's got the Wardlow who can throw a man real fucking far. It takes it from John Moxley's "This is our belt," MJF's "This is my belt." I have taken this from you and this belongs to me. And he can rub that in people's faces. The only problem with the MJF story and his attitude is you'd want Mox to win it back from him for the our belt perspective. That's my only issue. When I look at the MJF taking it, he has to shit on somebody who then beats him back because MJF is a personal asshole. He's better at that direct plot where he can really fuck on someone. Second one, Kenny Omega. Now, I didn't want to do the top of the card people. I've been thinking about this. And we've got the twitches of Dark Kenny. We've got the people really wanting him to have this WWE style top of the card push. We've got the inevitable split in his tag team. So what if in all this breaking down, this being pulled between the two, between the Elite and his partner, what if he turns heel? What if he goes back to the best bout machine? You know, the fucking cleaner is just smashing people left and right. Takes the belt. He's now the cleaner, evil NJP Kenny Omega, who people love. Obviously, this split, this losing of the title, this breaking the tag team, smashes Hangman Page back down with those insecurities we've seen played. We've seen him be like, oh, but everybody else is champions and I'm not, and I really want to be this champion. This split, this betrayal by Kenny can knock him back down until truly he realizes he can be a champion and he rises back up to take it from Kenny. Or alternatively, the third one, following a run of terrible matches that I hope will become better matches, we've got Brody Lee, the Broadster. What if this just continues? What if this goes up and he keeps getting these numbers, these little mid-carders and these squash matches people? What if he is able to separate Moxley and do what the Inner Circle couldn't? He can use numbers and cheating and such like to take the belt, because this is our belt. This is the Dark Order's belt, and we are one. just those are my 3 ideas for who should have the belt next. Obviously, I think the Kenny one's got the most story, but I sort of sold myself a bit more on the Brody Lee one at the end there, if I'm honest, seeing as that was 2 lines of text on my notes. What do you think? Where are we going with your thoughts?
So, have you been looking at my notes?
No. Just hacking through your computer.
So, I have pretty much thought exactly the same as you.
Oh.
That the belt needs to go to Hangman. Now,
but there needs to be somebody between that step.
It depends.
Oh.
So, if Hangman turns heel on Kenny,
yeah,
Hangman can dethrone Mox and just become the prima donna who did it. I don't think, and I know that we've talked about, I did it without the Elite, and that then leads on to Kenny dethroning Hangman.
Oh, you've gone the other way around.
Over a period of time. It all depends on which one of the 2 of them turns heel.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. I'm not so sold on that one because I don't think. I know we've said, the AW, they don't care what the crowd do with their faces or heels. The thing is, Jericho still stayed a heel and he will remain a heel because it's very much Jericho that does that with the crowd singing his intro music. But he's such a good heel that he can turn the crowd on him. I think Hangman is actually, even with this, everyone is so behind Hangman, even with this twitching of...
Because he's in the right.
Well, it's not even that. I think it's just the fact they want Hangman to succeed. And if he did level Kenny, and Kenny went, well, I'm still a babyface, and Hangman went, well, so am I think the crowd would just buy into it. I don't think we'd care. I don't think we'd see it as a Hangman heel turn. I think we'd just see it as him dealing with these issues he's got.
God damn these realistic advanced characters in
storytelling.
These complex emotional characters.
Playing with these demons. And it can end up with a big hug out right at the end in another year's time when they reform the Elite. So that's the option I'm less keen on. So I'm not keen on Hangman turning face. The other option, the flip side one, is that Kenny turns heel and Hangman is the one to dethrone him. Need a longer run with Kenny, and I don't want Hangman to wait
too long.
I don't want him to wait too long because I don't want him to go off the boil. Now, the classic with your World Championship is you always have it on a heel, because babyface chasing is better than a heel trying to dethrone. But AEW doesn't have to play by those rules.
It's Anime 101. You need somebody who actually has a reason to fight to the top.
But you also have the fact that Hulk Hogan held the belt for many, 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 many years.
Yeah, but that's not storytelling. That's Hulk Hogan.
not even necessarily backstage, because he was the superhero that could fend off the bad guys. And there was good storytelling. I mean, going back to the times of like Sergeant Slaughter, etc.
I'm just mad at what he did to Macho Man. Let's be honest.
Yes, but Macho Man, from an in-character point of view, was brilliant. Specifically talking from in kayfabe, the storyline over a period of time.
Oh, he's wonderful. I love him. He's probably the only classic wrestler I have fully watched documentaries on and stuff. But yeah, he was the not quite the always champion, but super face character. But what I was talking about actually a minute ago with Rusev, you don't have to always be the champion / at the top of the card to be a brilliant wrestler and a brilliant character.
So yeah, I'm not quite so keen on that one because I think if Kenny holds the belt, he needs to hold it for a long time and he needs to fend off a lot of people. And I don't think, other than maybe Darby and possibly some kind of weird thing with Cody where he's allowed to challenge for the belt, that there's enough strong baby faces to go up against a heel Kenny.
Cody's going to come out as Stardust to challenge for that belt.
Yeah. So my other option, as I said, have you been looking at my notes? Yeah. What I would do is shenanigans. He's got Wardlow.
Yep.
I would have MJF. Now, MJF is not ready to carry the company yet, I don't think. He's a great promo, and I think
causes a lot of controversy.
He would work really well. Yes, because a lot of controversy is actually a good thing. So Mox was better before he became the People's Champion. When he was better when he was actually being Stone Cold, and not when he's become The Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
And not actually being The Rock.
You can't have The Rock's gimmick and act like Stone Cold.
But yeah, when he was doing the bit with Kenny, and it was that you've caused this, when they wouldn't give him the match.
Yeah, the first bits of Mock stuff were fucking cool. Like his initial paradigm shift promo was baller.
Yeah, and the whole, I am part of this company, but I don't listen to authority. And I think the trying to do this is the belt of professional wrestling.
Sorry, every time.
So I think MJF wins it at maybe a pay-per-view. They have 4 pay-per-views a year. He's holding it until the next pay-per-view. And
he's comedy enough to sell that as well. You're right.
Yeah, he can hold on to it. I think I'd possibly have him using any type of cheap way to get out of everything. You won't see the belt defended between...
He's got a Wardlow who can literally throw a man into space.
That's exactly it. You can have a couple of people, so he can wrestle. It can never be for the championship. He will wrestle against people like Darby, and
he can get himself DQ to keep a title.
Colt Cabana. Well, I wouldn't even have him. I'd always have him go, no, I'm not putting it on the line. I'm not putting it on the line. I'm not putting
until
it on
he's forced to.
Until he's forced to at the next pay-per-view. And before that, I'd have a number 1 contenders, something like the Battle Royal thing they did before. Number 1 contenders match, or just have Hangman on an absolute tear, so he's the number 1 contender. Which is so you can also have MJF ducking the number 1 contender using every excuse possible, and that's when I would bring Hangman out, and I would have MJF have a very short run with the belt, because yes, long runs give the belt legitimacy, but actually having had a few champions helps, and MJF then gets the ex-world champion MJF added to his list. But I wouldn't have
it. You've told me more on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it as a long-term thing, short-term thing, ducking everything, really playing up the shit heel. Wardlow, possibly even with Wardlow walking out on him right at the end, the old classic one. I've had enough of your shit now, and not going to help. I'm taking punches for you from Hangman. Maybe you've reformed the Elite. Maybe they've sorted out all their shit. Some variation on that Wardlow has had to keep going through shit. So eventually you can have Wardlow just walk out on him. That's
Wardlow is stolen by EC3 as he joins the company.
Yeah, something like that. And bang, Hangman Adam Page is your new champion, and is a babyface champion who can then face off against all the heels they've got.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's really good.
So yeah, what do we think then?
Overall, yeah, no, I'm with you. You've won me back to MJF with that. Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's because I've not had a chance to see MJF being at his top form again, because he's such a fucking good character. Like he's infinitely lovable as a shitty heel. Yeah, no, you're right, and also you can play with it as long as you want. If the crowd are enjoying it, you can keep it on him a little bit longer whilst Hangman gets angry. Maybe it's Hangman who then brings the Elite back together, because they've obviously got a split once he's the title champion, etc., and he regains his... Yeah, you can go in all manner of storytelling routes. It should be MJF, and that's probably why we had a hype video for him, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think MJF would, but I don't think it should be a long run. I think it's a short run, and he gets toppled. It's a way to transition from a babyface champion to a babyface champion.
Yeah, and a better babyface champion. Hangman is so much more of a Stone Cold than Jon Moxley is, and I enjoy his matches. So that's good for me.
I think if they give Mox some proper matches again, like they did against Kenny, you'd see a difference.
I've watched a bunch of his matches. I've seen him in a bunch of the shoot matches, well, the more shoot style matches in NJPW against Ishii and stuff. And I can honestly say, I just don't really get it. But if the best Moxley match you can see is John Moxley versus Toriano in the G1 from last year in NJPW. Toriano is probably Japan's most powerful comedy wrestler. And it's phenomenal. Even if you don't watch the whole match, which I recommend you do, you should watch Moxley's promo afterwards. Well, his post-match interview. It's fucking hilarious. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to ruin it, but that match is old. Because otherwise, I don't know. I think I just prefer a bit more flair in my matches than Moxley Punch Man and probably do underhook double arm DDT off a thing.
He's always going to be better in the big hardcore matches, and that's why he had good matches against Joey Janela.
He should have just made a hardcore belt at the start. When he was like, I don't want a championship, blah, 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 I can't get my title shot. I just wanted him to walk in with his own made hardcore belt. And I was going to be like, and he'd be like, we fight for this on Dark with Joey Janela and all that. And I was going to be like, shit! But
I wouldn't have necessarily done that. Yeah, you could have had him just have his own belt, like the Taz FTW belt, or
exactly.
The $1 million belt that Ted DiBiase used to have.
You're not going to let me fight for a belt? Fine, I'll make my own and we'll fight for it. And then Jimmy Havoc and all that lot could jump on top of it as well. It'd be wicked.
So there you have it. Our pick for the next AEW World Champion
MJF
is MJF, though in reality it's actually Hangman Adam Page. When we pre-discussed this, we both discussed that it had to be Page eventually, that he was important. But yeah, our pick is MJF. So thank you all very much for listening. Quick apology to people on YouTube. We're having technical difficulties. For some reason, last week's episode wouldn't upload on YouTube. If you only watch us on YouTube, you may or may not actually hear this apology. Because it depends whether this week's episode will upload to YouTube.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Please do like, share, subscribe. We are Wrestle Opinionated, all one word, on Spotify and Anchor.fm. We are Wrestle Space Opinionated on YouTube. You can email us at wrestleopinionated@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, WrestleOP1. And join us on Facebook at WrestleOP. Over to you, Mr. Strange.
Please do send in those questions, things to discuss. Pretty much anything we can get gives us more to work with and hopefully more entertaining to you. That's what we're after. You've just got all the numbers. Send in whatever you want. Well, this new booking game's pretty exciting, I'm not going to lie. If you also wish to see a man-throwing contest between Wardlow and Lance Archer, please do bring it up on Twitter and, make sure AEW know that they've stolen that idea from me and I'm very upset about it. And they can reward me with free tickets when they come to England or something. But yes, thank you for listening. We do appreciate every single one of you. If you can do all of the 12-year-old YouTube things, smash that bell, ring that like button, share it amongst your friends, make your nan listen to it, that really will help us. Send in your questions. Thank you for listening. Back to Morg.
So, goodbye and good night.